this city does represent people from all over the world. This is a city that welcomes people from all over the world and has always acted and behaved in a truly internationalist way. I'm proud to be in Manchester supporting you, Labour in Manchester in the North West, and looking forward to making more Labour gains come the general election. And next week I'll be in Southport. Are we up for winning Southport? Thank you to Andy Byrne being here this afternoon. Andy, you're most welcome. And your commitment to ending homelessness, improving transport across Manchester and improving environment and climate, absolutely brilliant. And I was thinking of you absolutely yesterday when we were raising once again the situation facing European Union nationals living in Britain who've had 3 years of the most horrible levels of uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen to them. In many cases, their children, with one parent coming from one part of Europe, another from another, they don't know what their future is. No family should be put through that kind of disgusting uncertainty. And straight after the referendum, 2016, Andy was then our Shadow Home Secretary. The first thing he did, with my absolute full support, was move a motion in Parliament to grant permanent rights of residence to all EU nationals living in Britain. Thank you, Andy. We've got it through that day. And we will absolutely stick by that commitment. And I thank my parliamentary colleagues for being here today. Afzal Khan, thank you very much. With the total bribery of a wonderful box of mangoes he brought into my office yesterday. Absolutely wonderful, thank you so much. Graham, Lucy, Becky Long-Bailey, and all the other Manchester MPs. We are a Labour team that have got to take a message out there that will offer hope and transformation to the people of this country. We only achieve that as a party if we go out there with a united message of how we want to transform things and how we're going to win. Our manifesto, we had a strong one in 2017. I don't know when the election's coming, but just suppose it happened to be 2019. The 2019 vintage will be even better. Because all of the shadow cabinets, Labour MPs, shadow ministers have spent 2 years travelling around the country, meeting people, listening to people, talking to people, listening to councillors, talking to them about the way in which local government has been so grievously treated by this government, and talking about how we can achieve things. Last Saturday we had a meeting in London of a number of local authority representatives of what we called our Community Wealth Unit. Our discussions about how local authority investment can boost a local economy, how a purchasing policy that favours local business and co-ops can help all of them, but above all, how we develop creatively new jobs, new businesses, new industries all across the country. That energy and enthusiasm that's there. The meetings John McDonnell and others have done all across the country about developing the economy in every town and city. The sort of jobs we need, the sort of development we need, the sort of housing policy we need, the social care strategy we need, the health strategy we need, all of those things. That is what will make our manifesto so strong, because it won't be written by me, it'll be written by everyone who wants a Labour government and wants to see something better and something different in our society. It will not be written by a PR consultant imported by Boris Johnson to decide how he should look today. It'll be something very contributed to the policy-making process. Thank you very much indeed. And our conference this year in Brighton will be agreeing on a lot of policy developments, all of which I believe are very important and I hope will bring us the support and success that we deserve. When we elected a Labour government, that's just the start of the story. Because as somebody very diplomatically pointed out, a number of us have been under some criticism from some of the mainstream media. Ed Miliband gave me some very helpful advice the day I was elected leader. It's a waste of money, it'll only annoy you. And I followed that advice. As far as I'm concerned, I want to get a message out there of what our party can be and can achieve. And I've just come from Liverpool, where I was with Steve Rotherham, and I was giving our backing to the proposal that he's working on, that Liverpool City Region is working on, with the support of all the local authorities in the area. That is for sustainable energy, green energy, through the development of a Mersey barrage. That barrage will create jobs, will create skills, will generate a lot of electricity, and will be an impetus for the way forward in the future. And I'm very proud to give that support and give the support we are giving to green energy industries all around the country. Becky Long-Bailey is leading our whole charge on a green industrial revolution in this country. On May the 1st, I proposed to Parliament that the British Parliament declare a climate emergency. Michael Gove, in reply to my speech, in which I'd outlined the problems we face, the global warming we face, the pollution we're making of the seas, the numbers of species we're making extinct, the damage we're doing to our biodiversity and our natural ecosystems, it cannot go on. If it does, our very sustainability is damaged terminally for future generations. I've always been very supportive of any kind of environmental sustainability policies. And I want our party to be at the forefront of this whole issue about how we conduct ourselves, our lives, and our policies. But sometimes, as the Prime Minister pointed out yesterday, environmentalists are always hair-shirted. Well, I'd never accuse Boris Johnson of being hair-shirted, or like silk-shirted. But sometimes people say, well, actually, all you want to do is stop everything. No, not at all. The environmental crisis we face and the environmental emergency we face doesn't fall evenly on the entire population. It's children living in the poorest communities who breathe the worst air. It's populations living in inner urban areas that live shorter lives than the wealthier people living in the suburbs. You can take a train ride from Cheshire up to the north of Lancashire, and you would go through life expectancy that would go like that. And you could do that for any city across the whole of Britain. We are damaging children's lives before they've even reached primary school, where the foul air they're breathing means they lose up to 10% of their lung capacity before they even get into primary school. That is terrible, that is wrong, and so it does mean green transport, it does mean changing the way that we do things. But it's not about stopping everybody doing anything, it's about using our creativity, our brains and our technology to create cleaner transport, to generate cleaner energy, and to have an agricultural and land management system that preserves and enhances biodiversity, not destroys it. And that is what our green strategy is about. And the three members of the Shadow Cabinet, Sue Hayman, Becky Long-Bailey and Barry Gardner, are doing a great job in discussing all this with lots of interest groups and people as a way of taking that forward. And our green industrial revolution will create about 400,000 jobs across the whole of the country. Good quality, high-skilled, well-paid, unionised jobs. That is what Labour wants to achieve. That is the way forward, I believe, for this country. And on the global stage, Donald Trump might want to walk away from the Paris Climate Change Accord. He might say, well, it doesn't matter. His interests are those of big pharma, big oil, or whatever else. Well, our Labour government will be walking towards the Paris Climate Change Accord. We'll be working with them to strengthen and improve it. And we recognise that globally, as in this country, environmental disasters don't fall evenly on people. Ask that to a refugee in a refugee camp in Libya who's had to leave their home because of land destruction, because of environmental destruction. There are climate refugees already in the world, as well as refugees from wars and displacement. And look at those people forced into shanty towns on the edge of cities because of the way their lives have been destroyed. Work with people all over this world to try and bring reality to those climate change accords and not allow Donald Trump, Boris Johnson or anybody else to ride roughshod over them. Are you up for that? With this new Prime Minister who was elected by about as many people as attend the average cup final anywhere around the world, and they were hardly the kind of people who would go to the average cup final around the world. Where's the mandate? Where's the mandate for him to become Prime Minister? Where's the mandate for this right-wing government to take over? So our summer is going to be one of campaigning. Tomorrow I'll be in Mansfield and Nottingham in the East Midlands, because we've got to gain seats in the East Midlands. We've got to gain seats in those places that have seen no real investment since the end of the miners' strike, that have seen mining jobs replaced by corporate. And we're going to be campaigning all over the country, including a big campaign in Scotland. I don't know when the general election's coming, but I tell you what, this is just a limbering up process. We're going to do it everywhere across the country and win it. Why? Because of the uncertainty and insecurity that so many people face in their lives. Look at the two ends of the age spectrum. Children not getting the nursery places they need. Children in underfunded schools with overcrowded classrooms not achieving what they should. Those 16, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds not getting the apprenticeships they need and the quality that goes with them. Those that go to university coming out with £50,000 or £60,000 worth of debt. So big their debts that they wonder how they're going to start in life to get somewhere to live. And then you look at the other end of the scale, age-wise. 1 million mainly older people wondering where the social care will come from, wondering how they're going to survive. This is insecurity in modern Britain. Then you look at the ultimate of it, as Andy and I have often discussed. Rough sleeping homelessness across Britain. The government tells me it's 4,000 or 5,000. I beg to differ. It's 4 or 5 times that figure across the country. And I talk to people that are living in sleeping rough. They've been through tragedies and traumas and problems in their lives. All kinds of things have hit them. But you know what? There, but for the grace of God, go you or I as well. We need a society that cares for all and does care for all. So it is a Britain that is very divided. It is a Britain that has had now 9 years of austerity, 9 years of falling wages, 9 years of cuts to local government expenditure, 9 years of underfunding health expenditure, 9 years of the political choice of austerity, which we have all suffered from. So is it to be Boris Johnson, who was elected by this curious minority of people around the country, promising, you could add it up in different ways, but it's at least 10, probably £15 billion worth of tax cuts to the very richest within our society, then at the same time announcing he's going to spend money on various unspecified places and projects over the next 6 months, year or whatever it is, all vagueness. Well, something to me doesn't add up. If you're giving away £15 billion in tax cuts to the very richest and the very biggest corporations, that's a political choice. It's his political choice. My political choice, our political choice would be, I wouldn't give any of it away. I would want that money spent on health, on housing, on schools, on people, on jobs. So, we will be investing in Crossrail for the north. We will be investing in a better rail system across the north. We will be moving part of the Treasury operation to the north of England. We'll be investing right across the north, which has received about a quarter of the transport infrastructure investments that have been put in London and the South East. We'll be investing in rail, in public transport as a whole, and particularly in buses. Only London survived the 1980s attempt at privatising all bus services and deregulating them all across the country. You all know the price that's been paid, not by those that caused the policy, but by those who simply want to get around on an affordable bus. Well done, those Labour authorities that have tried to bring in better bus services under the bus legislation. Andy McDonald will lead the way for a publicly owned rail system and a municipally owned bus system across the country, and above all, integration of our transport, so public transport becomes the first choice to move around, not the last choice. That gives us less congestion, cleaner air, a better system. Let's talk about what we do about our major industries and how the public interacts with them. We are committed, as I said, to taking our rail system back into public ownership. We're also committed to taking Royal Mail back into public ownership. Manchester produced the best water in the world. It'll be even better when it's publicly owned, which will take a We've had enough of the asset strippers that Thatcher brought in to take over all those public enterprises, to sell off the land and sell off the assets and pay themselves bonuses with money that they borrow against what remaining assets they've got. I'm fed up with the waste of water, the leakages and all the rest that go with it. Let's have the water industry into public ownership, working with the Environment Agency to conserve our water supplies, ensure customers pay a fair price for it, and the investment in a better future with a better pipe network across the whole country. I'm fed up with asset strippers getting hold of what were public investments in the first place. There are two national services I want to talk about. The first one is our National Health Service. Our National Health Service, created to give healthcare free at point of use for everybody. It's a wonderful principle, and never forget that it was dreamt up in Geneva and started in Manchester, where the first NHS hospitals and so on were opened in the late 1940s. What an incredible achievement. Something that we're very, very proud of. I went to Mexico for the inauguration of my friend Andrew Manuel López Obrador as president late last year. And I was travelling with him. He said, Jeremy, what do you want from my government? I said, what I want from your government is you to be in office and the people of Mexico to be better off. Well, you get health care if you can pay for it. He's obviously trying to change that, but he saw the reality of how good our NHS is. Underfunded, stretched, and all the rest of it. But with Johnson in charge, a no-deal Brexit, a sweetheart deal with Trump, and American healthcare companies coming in, sorry, our NHS is not for sale to anyone. It needs improvement, it needs a better mental health service. There's many areas it needs to be much better. But let's